Mexico has lifted its sixth Gold Cup in a dramatic and emotionally charged 2-1 victory over the United States B team, a win that means everything and nothing all at once, a trophy mocked for its lack of prestige, but treasured by a nation hungry for pride, relevance, and redemption, a victory soaked not in glory, but in raw necessity, because for El Tri, the Gold Cup is never a goal. It is an obligation, and failing to lift it would have been catastrophic, especially against a weakened American squad that brought their second string to the battlefield, yet struck first in the 4th minute with Chris Richards heading in amidst shocking Mexican defensive negligence by Edson Álvarez and Johan Vázquez, a moment of horror in a match they were supposed to dominate from start to finish. And while that early goal felt like a gut punch to the 71,000 spectators inside NRG Stadium, it merely fueled the fire inside a team already under siege by their own critics, with passion quickly taking over where tactics faltered, because Mexico responded not just with possession, 63% against the USA's 37%, but with total control, with 12 corner kicks to none, managing every tempo and emotion of the match, pushing back the creeping panic that threatened to swallow them, as Rob Alvarado exploded down the flank with chaotic brilliance, channeling Dom and Antuna at once, while the midfield pulsed with the creative intelligence of Marcel Ruiz, who in the 27th minute sliced open the American defense to find Raúl Jiménez, who struck with the fury of years of frustration, a left-footed screamer that bent the will of goalkeeper Matt Freese and swung momentum like a hammer through glass. And from there the tide turned, with Mexico closing ranks in defense, slamming the door shut on any second American attempt, even when a late shot crashed off Malagan's distracted face in a moment both terrifying and absurd. But it was in the second half where the superiority turned into siege warfare, as Alexis Vega's entrance sharpened the right wing's fangs, and Mora's industrious brilliance stood as proof of Mexico's future, while Marcel, again, ran the midfield like a general with a score to settle, and Edson Álvarez shook off his early error to become a wall of force and fury. And then, in the 77th minute, when the match still threatened to slip into the chaos of penalties, Mexico struck with finality, as Vázquez headed a corner into the perfect storm, and Edson, flying between a palomita and a predator's dive, slammed the ball into the net, a redemption arc completed in real time as the crowd erupted and the U.S. team fell into disarray, their desperation boiling into confusion, while Mexico grew calmer, stronger, surer. Sanchez, Vázquez, and Montes closing every gap like surgeons on a mission, while Pochettino, in the American dugout, looked like a man already fired in spirit, if not yet on paper, his tactics shredded by a Mexican side that, despite its flaws, played with the soul of a nation on its back. And make no mistake, this wasn't a beautiful game, it was a brutal one, a bloody symphony of pride, rage, and hunger. And while pundits and purists will sneer that beating the US B team means nothing, they are wrong. Because for the fans, for the people who wear this jersey like armor in a war of identity, this victory means everything. This is the game you remember when your grandfather told you stories of Blanco, Rafa Marquez, and Guardado. This is the win that screams louder than logic, that overrides rankings, that drowns analysis with pure, unapologetic emotion. Because against the US, even the B team, there is no such thing as a friendly. There is only war. And Javier El Vasco Aguirre, called a clown by his critics, a con artist of football emotions, proved yet again that his locker room speeches are more powerful than any whiteboard, that his grasp of passion trumps his rasp of tactics. And in the intimacy of that locker room before the game, he likely didn't draw arrows or show clips. He probably just said what needed to be said. Win it for those watching now, for those gone, and for those who will wear the shirt one day, because when you face the United States, as he once said, ante estos cabrones no se debe perder, and though he tried to hide his emotion to downplay the stakes, no one believed him because this was personal. This was Mexico grabbing a moment they couldn't afford to lose. This was fury turned into fireworks. And while this Gold Cup may not shine like a World Cup or even a Copa America, it sparkles with something far rarer, emotional immortality, because sometimes a second-rate trophy becomes the only thing keeping a first-rate footballing soul alive. And for Mexico, for the 71,000 in Houston, and for the millions in living rooms from Tijuana to Tapachula, this wasn't just a final, it was a resurrection.